The controversial story of Me Against the World. This video is by Clout Cancun. This video talks about Tupac's controversy surrounding his album Me Against the World, everything that happened. Backstory: Me Against the World was one of Pac's best albums. The album went #1, but while he was incarcerated, he became the first rapper ever to have a #1 album in the world while still in jail, or while in jail. And that album led to like a classic song, Dear Mama. But the controversies that was surrounding the album, the reason why he was in jail was because he was accused of sexual assault, and he ended up getting sentenced to 1.5 to 4.5 years in the maximum penitentiary at clean correctional facilities. But before that, he was at Rikers Island. Excuse me. And yeah, and he spent, I think, 10 months in jail, 10 or 11 months in jail, until he got bailed out by Suge Knight and ultimately signed with Death Row Records. But we about to talk about the controversial story surrounding Me Against the World. Let's go.
It's probably not the image he wants to project, but Tupac Shakur, nominee for an NAACP Image Award, is in trouble again. The rap singer and actor was arrested for allegedly helping a friend, a woman, at the Park Meridian Hotel.
They accused him of aggressively
York,
touching the buttocks.
Titled Above the Rim.
On January 12th, he's expected to be in an Atlanta courtroom for allegedly slapping a fan. On January 25th, there's a hearing in Texas involving a state trooper who was shot by a man listening to Tupac Shakur's lyrics. And Tupac Shakur himself has been accused of 2 police officers in Atlanta.
He's keeping every police department.
I forgot about that. He shot 2 off-duty cops
in the lobby of Quad Studios on November 30th, 1994. A hotspot for rap artists at the time. That's Sean Diddy Combs outside as police arrived on scene.
They're trying to control Tupac. Tupac was losing control.
All in the camera.
That's my new style. Hey, have a good summer. When I beat up the directors to the society, let me tell the whole world. These are some punk slump, you know what I'm saying? You don't have a chance to come here and rebuttal. No, they won't. They better come now. Check this out. They fired me, but did it in a roundabout punk snitch way. So I caught them on the streets and beat they behinds. You know what I'm saying?
I just that as far as the remorse, I have a great deal of remorse.
And it's crazy. Pac was only in the rap game for 5 years as a solo artist, from 1991 to 1996. The man lived, recorded so much material, did movies, shot videos, wrote scripts to movies, slept with groupies, all types of crazy stuff, in a matter of 11 months after he got released from jail.
The year is 1995. Tupac is serving a prison sentence in Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York, after being found guilty of something I'm not sure that I can even say on YouTube. But if you know, you know. The verdict is quite controversial given the facts of the case. I'm not here to break down the case as a whole and give my thoughts on it. Despite being found guilty, Tupac proclaimed his innocence.
How am I gonna forcibly do anything to a girl after she did to me consensually? And that's not something I'm making up. That's what they said. They said that. The girl came to court and said she did this, she did that, she called my hotel, it was good. She said that, not me. Now why am I gonna force her? I mean, this is common sense. But no matter what happens, innocent or guilty, my life is ruined. Because when they say, whatever they say in this verdict, y'all not going to make it front page news. It won't be bigger, no matter what. All that you want to hear is that he's guilty, he's in jail, the reign of terror is over, the outlaw is gone. That's what they want to do. So I'm starting to think, I don't know which story to read. I don't know if this is, about, black and white and loud and quiet, or is it about me and this girl? Because if it's about me and this girl, come on, we shouldn't even be here.
Let's rewind back to the beginning
Tupac
of 1994.
Tupac
is coming off of the success that he had in 1993 with the release of his sophomore album, Strictly For Mine, which went gold by the end of the year. The album had two big singles, which were I Get Around and Keep Your Head Up. I Get Around peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100, while Keep Your Head Up peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100. Both of these songs went gold by the end of 1993. He also co-starred in the classic movie Poetic Justice this year by portraying the character Lucky. As an entertainer, Tupac had a pretty successful year, to say the least. He had a gold-selling album, 2 gold-selling singles, and a classic movie under his belt. While Tupac had success this year, this would also be the year that his life took a turn for the worst. At the beginning of the year, he was arrested for allegedly assaulting a limo driver in LA, and he was also arrested for allegedly swinging a bat at a rapper in Michigan. At some point in 1993, Tupac beat up Allen Hughes, who co-directed the movie Menace to Society, which Tupac was initially supposed to be in. In late 1993, Tupac was arrested after trying to stop 2 off-duty cops from harassing a black man in Atlanta, Georgia.
Pac said they shot at him first.
Out a weapon, so Tupac fired in self-defense. This case was thrown out after it was found that the officers were intoxicated, lied about who the aggressor of the situation was, and the fact that they were carrying weapons that were stolen from a police evidence locker. And then, of course, the Ayanna Jackson case that happened in late 1993 as well. In 1994, Tupac had to deal with the fallout of some of his legal troubles from 1993, with Tupac serving time in jail. I know that he did a little skip bid for what happened with Allen Hughes. During this very chaotic time in Tupac's life, he hit the studio to record music and vent his thoughts. He was in and out of court during the day while hitting the studio at night recording music for his upcoming projects. Tupac also had to film for an upcoming movie as well. At the top of 1994, the movie Above the Rim was released, with Tupac co-starring as the character Birdie. In addition to co-starring, Tupac provided music for the legendary soundtrack.
They'll never take me alive, I'm getting high with my profile.
Later on, in September of 1994, Tupac released Thug Life Volume 1 with his group Thug Life.
I started young, kicking dust, and living rough, you watch the mouth around my mama, you took the cuts, man.
Just 2 months after the release of Thug Life Volume 1, Tupac's life would forever change. In November of 1994, Tupac was infamously shot.
I forgot he got robbed
in New York City, New York.
How can I forget that? That was a big part of the East Coast West Coast rivalry.
Pac was shot 5 times in the lobby of the studio after being robbed of $40,000 worth of jewelry. He ultimately survived his injuries, but he was never the same.
He got sentenced the next day,
he suffered from PTSD and
within that same week. Checked himself out the hospital.
Wake up screaming in cold sweats after having
they sentenced him like a couple days later.
Coming back to finish the job. These nightmares and paranoia led to Tupac having to switch hospitals even after having the Fruit of Islam protect him. Against the doctor's advice, he left
he ended up staying at Jasmine Guy's house to recover.
Metropolitan Hospital Center. Even after transferring, Tupac still got phone calls about the Quad Studio incident. In December of 1994, while Tupac was still freshly recovering from his injuries, he was convicted of charges stemming from the Ayanna Jackson case. Tupac wasn't in the courtroom as the verdict was being read due to still being in the hospital. He wouldn't be sentenced until February of 1995, when it was decided that he would face between 1.5 to 4.5 years in prison. Just weeks after Tupac was convicted, the first single, Dear Mama, for his 3rd studio album was released.
Classic.
It peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. As of 2021, this song is triple platinum.
I would have thought that song would have went diamond.
month in March, Me Against the World was released. It topped the Billboard 200, selling over 240,000 copies in its first week and went double platinum by the end of the year. Upon accomplishing this feat, Tupac became the first artist ever to have a #1 album while serving a prison sentence. Me Against the World was a highly requested video that you guys wanted me to break down, and I figured why not save it for my birthday, which is hopefully the day that I'm dropping this. I don't normally drop videos on Saturdays, but I always try to drop something special on my birthday for you guys. But the taste of success for Tupac was bittersweet due to the situation that Tupac was in.
Go to jail.
He had to sit in a prison cell for several months before he could be on the outside again. A haunting fact about this album is that Tupac spoke a lot of the things into existence regarding this album. Tupac was going through a lot with his legal issues and controversies, like when he spat at news reporters in 1994. But on Me Against the World, Tupac raps about getting shot and going to jail. He rapped about this before the Quad Studio incident and before he was convicted. After the Quad Studio incident, he was in the hospital, so he couldn't record. A song like Death Around the Corner speaks volumes because Tupac was probably paranoid while making the track, but not to the level as he was after he was shot.
Yeah.
Multiple different track lists that Tupac made are available to see online, which have different sequencing and or songs that did not make the cut. For example, the song Hard For Her was initially planned for the album.
I ain't got no time. I gotta be mine. I keep my mind on my youth. I'ma shoot every time they make no play.
There's a whole backstory to this, which involves Death Row Records, but Snoop Dogg was
Snoop take the credit for
to
it.
feature on it, but this song did not end up making the cut. Years later, in 1997, another version of the song called Life So Hard appeared on the soundtrack to the movie Gang Related. Out on Bail is another song that was penciled in for this album. I've seen that originally it was meant for the Thug Life album, but the song was deemed to be too controversial. Just like Hard For Her, a reworked version of Out on Bail dropped years later in 2004 on Tupac's posthumous album Loyal to the Game. The last song that I wanted to mention is Pain, which Tupac at some point wanted the song on the album, but it did not make the cut. The album starts off with the intro, which consists of news reports of the controversies that affected Tupac's life leading up to the release of Me Against the World. This really set the tone for the album, and it perfectly fades into the following track, If I Die Tonight. Now, like I said in the first part, when talking about this album,
Quad Studios,
said that he made it before the Quad Studio shooting and before he got locked up. He admitted to prophesizing these things happening to him by speaking it into existence. Kind of like how Tupac constantly rapped about dying, and he ended up dying violently at the young age of 25. Literally a year after he released this song, If I Die Tonight. The thing is that Tupac did not fear death, which is evident by the intro of the song, which is done by Tupac's
That's all he talked about.
Mopreme.
The power of life and death is in the tongue. It's in the Bible. He spoke about death so much, just like Biggie.
Allusion to Shakespeare, who served as a major influence to Tupac. Tupac always referred to himself as a soldier, as he was not afraid to die. This song perfectly fades into the title track of the album, Me Against the World, featuring Dramacidal, who later went on to become the Outlaws. When speaking about the album, Tupac called it deep and reflective. He compared it to a blues record detailing all his fears and what kept him up at night. People thought that he was living well and doing good, but this was not the case at all. He poured out his emotions on this album and his mindset on why he thought it was truly him against the entire world. On the title track in particular, Tupac also raps about injustices in the black community and how fame may have changed him. So Many Tears is next, and this ended up becoming the second single for the album. It peaked at number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100. On this track, Tupac details how many tears that he has shed over the years, from losing close friends to the troubles that date back to his childhood. This is one of the tracks where Tupac refers to being in jail, which he wasn't when this song was recorded. And an OG remix version of the song does exist. Inside my mind, couldn't find a place to rest until I got that gun like that on my chest. Tell me, can you feel me? Prior to doing this video, I never heard this version before, and in all honesty, I think this version gives the official one a run for its money. Both are really good.
Yeah, that OG version is hard.
I think that I'm liking the beat for the OG remix a little more. Aside from the beat being different, another difference is that Stretch, Tupac's once close friend and member of his group Thug Life, originally featured on the track.
I ain't know Stretch was featured on this song.
When So Many Tears was officially released, Stretch's verse got scrapped due to Stretch and Tupac having a fallout after the Quad Studio incident in late 1994. He felt like Stretch. Honestly, I don't think that he was
set him up.
The song, I think that Tupac
he didn't feel like Stretch set him up. He felt like Stretch should have did more during that robbery than what he did. He felt like he was in on it. Because Pac was the only one that got robbed out of everybody that was with him.
This track was produced by
Easy Mo B,
who also produced If I Die Tonight on this album. When speaking about the song, Easy said that he played the beat for Tupac while he was filming for the movie Above the Rim. Speaking of Easy Mo B, I feel like this is the perfect time to bring up his deeper history involving Me Against the World. This is because Tupac and Biggie shared a mutual producer, which happened to be Easy. This is important because it's believed that Biggie was heavily influenced by Me Against the World. This is something that Tupac believed himself and spoke on during an interview with Sway in 1996.
So all of a sudden he changed from being listen to Party and Bullshit, listen to his style. He changed from that to Big Papa. Because of me. He had my album Me Against the World was the second one. He had the first one. I changed everything because Ready to Die came out and it sounded like my album. All my album was about, dealing with death. And then he came out Ready to Die and I had to switch it.
Wow.
That's why it was less East Coast rap, East Coast beats, because Biggie had just took my shit.
So, as you heard from Tupac's mouth, he let Biggie listen to Me Against the World while they were friends. Keep in mind, Tupac started recording for the album all the way back in 1993. Just a year later, in 1994, Biggie released his debut album, Ready to Die. Easy Mo B has spoken about this situation and said that Biggie once told him that he heard the song Temptations and If I Die Tonight. This is, of course, before they were officially released. Biggie told Easy Mo B that he could not understand why he didn't give these beats to him instead. Easy said that Biggie was just messing around and that Pac and Biggie were still friends at this time. Some people don't believe that Biggie was kidding, but this is straight what Easy Mo B said out of his own mouth. This fades into the following song, YNs. In the intro, Tupac dedicated the song to rapper Yummy Sandiford. For those who don't know, Yummy gained national attention in the mid-90s after his violent death at the age of 11. He was taken out by members within his own gang due to fear of him becoming a snitch and cooperating with police by exposing the various crimes that they committed. The story of Yummy moved Tupac so much to the point that he dedicated the song to him. It goes even further, with there being a picture of Yummy in the background of one of Tupac's prison interviews in 1995. There's also stories of Tupac getting into it with members of Yummy's gang at his concert in Chicago. So I'm rapping to these dudes that just killed this kid, and they all screaming out thug life. I felt bad, like they got it twisted. So I started cursing them dudes out. Y'all dudes cowards. Y'all killed that kid. Y'all dudes is punks. I hate all you dudes. Them dudes start throwing stuff. We had a shootout in the stadium. It was tough, man. The whole gang tore up the whole neighborhood. Then I started getting letters from that area with all the mothers. The girls was like, thank you for doing that, because everybody's scared of these dudes. That's what I want to do. If these gang dudes ain't gonna get straight, then I want to take them out of the game. Because if they don't, it's going to make it tougher on us. Heavy in the Game is the following track, and it features Lady Levi, Richie Rich, and Ebony Foster.
Richie Rich, Double R.
Not counting singers, Richie Rich is the only rapper outside of the Outlaws that's not sampled that appears on the Me Against the World album. I think that it says a lot about the relationship that Bay Area rapper
Richie Rich was on All Eyes on Me.
Tupac cut a lot of people off after the Quad Studio incident, and as I mentioned earlier, took people off of songs after that. Richie Rich remained and had a close relationship with Tupac until his death. Lord Knows is the 8th track on the album, and it has production credits from Brian G. When speaking about the song, he said that it was originally an interlude, but Tupac wanted the beat to be longer so he could flesh it out into a full song. Brian did exactly what Tupac asked of him, and it led to the song that we have today. By far the biggest song on the album, and one of Tupac's biggest songs ever, is Dear Mama.
Dear Mama, I'm sorry, that's the saddest song in the world. Everybody because where you tell your mama business? Chris Tucker got to do. You be like, where you tell your mama business? This is a love song to my mama. Right. Dear Mama, we're #1. Thank everybody. Platinum, thank you. I went double platinum. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Master T gave me the beat. You know, like DJ. He gave me the beat, and I wrote it in the bathroom on the toilet, like on one of them early morning sit down sessions. I just wrote it down, and it came out like tears, you know. And right after I wrote it, I called my mom and I rapped it to her over the phone, like live. She was like crying. I was like, "That's a hit." That's what I want. Yeah, I felt it. I mean, the lyrics. If you listen to Dear Mama, the lyrics not tricky. It's not. It's just plain to the point because I wanted people to feel it. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be an emotional thing.
The song is about the highs and lows of the relationship that Tupac had with his mother throughout his life. The song was produced by Tony Bizzarro. In an interview, he said that Tupac sourced the sample for Dear Mama, which is the song In All My Wildest Dreams by Joe Sample. In 2010, Dear Mama was inducted into the Library of Congress Recording Registry. This registry is supposed to preserve culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant works. Upon being inducted, the song became the 3rd hip-hop song ever to accomplish this feat. The first two were Fear of a Black Planet by Public Enemy and The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. When Dear Mama was honored by the Library of Congress, Tupac's mother, Afeni, said that they could have chosen any song that Tupac had done, but she was honored that they chose Dear Mama. The song was relatable to a lot of mothers out there, which adds to its significance. It Ain't Easy is the 10th track on the album, and on this track, Tupac literally speaks his incarceration into existence. Tupac referenced this song in an interview while he was locked up and said that he spoke things to existence down to the part that the judge would not let him out on bail initially. Can You Get Away follows this, and this song is
was that really about Left Eye?
Left Eye Lopez. At the time, she was in a relationship with NFL player Andre Rison. It's said that their relationship was very toxic and abusive. If the song is indeed about Left Eye, then this would explain the title, because in the song, Tupac is asking the woman if she could get away for lunch even though she has a man. He also questions what's wrong with her eye and why does she have glasses on, which we all know what that implies and alludes to. Tupac and Left Eye had a very interesting relationship, to say the least. Though the two were seemingly attracted to each other, they both vowed to never sleep with each other because it would alter their friendship. This isn't the only song that's said to be dedicated to Lisa, because the song Heaven Ain't Hard to Find on All Eyes on Me is another song that's rumored to be about her as well.
Really?
A fact about this song is that Tupac originally wanted it to be the second single for the album. This ended up not happening as So Many Tears took its place. Old School is the 12th track on the album, and it came about after Tupac heard the brand Nubian song Dedication. It's dedicated to those who paved the way before them. Tupac liked the song and wanted to sample it, which birthed the song Old School. After this comes the final 3 songs on the album, which starts with F the World. This was produced by Shock G, and reportedly the name of the song is said to be the initial title for Me Against the World. This is exactly how Tupac was feeling at the time, but the name was changed to be less vulgar and offensive. In the song, Tupac goes off about everything that was happening in his life at the time. Mo ZMD, who did production on Me Against the World, had this to say about the situation. Really, his thought process when he talked to me about the album, it wasn't called Me Against the World at first. I think it was called F the World. He was just feeling angry about all the stuff that was happening to him, and he really just talked about dying and knowing that he was going to die, and he needed to get all this truth out before it happened. He felt like people were coming for him, and he was just uneasy about either the government, people from the street, he was getting it from all kinds of ways. So he wanted to really portray his anger at what was going on. This is exactly what Tupac expresses on the following track, which is Death Around the Corner. As the title of the song says, Tupac felt that death was only around the corner for him. The song is a continuation of Tupac's paranoia and mind state throughout the making of this album. Finally, the last track on the album is Outlaw, which features Dramacidal, which, as I said earlier, went on to be known as The Outlaws. This song was produced by Mo ZMB. In an interview, he talked about the 11-year-old on the intro of the song who went by the name of Ra Ra. This is a kid that Tupac knew from New York who used to be down with him.
Keeping it real, nigga, or what?
Keeping it real.
How old are you, nigga?
I'm 11.
Cause all I see is
Ra Ra's mom took issue with him being on the song, which led her to sue Mo, but he informed her that he had nothing to do with his inclusion to the song.
Dang.
Also, when talking about the song, Mo said that he sent a demo of some songs for Tupac to listen to. Tupac liked most of the tracks, but one really stood out to him. This was what went on to become Outlaw. Mo left that track on the demo by accident because it was an R&B track, but Tupac told him that it was a rap track now, and that is how the song was made. And just like that, the album concludes. If you made it to the end and are interested in the continuation of the story after Tupac got out of prison, I have a whole video about his All Eyes on Me album. Definitely give it a watch because I discuss a little bit
he
about
went 3 for 3
of Me Against the World in that video. All in all, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought of the video and what album you'd like me to cover next. As always, love you guys.
Y'all do Machiavelli.
Peace.
Alright, y'all, great video, man. Let me know down below in the comments on what y'all thought of my reactions to this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.